Thanks for having me in today. My name's Stuart, and I run a company called The Social Producers. And what we are is a videos, local / social company. We do a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to talk about a few things today. I'm going to talk about video. I'm going to talk about reputation, like local. And I figure I'd leave it to the end for social. The idea is I don't have anything formal for Facebook or that. What I'm figuring is that if you guys want to just talk, ask some questions, I would be happy to kind of show it to you. There's a million and one videos on the internet that show you how to make a Facebook ad. The reality is that I can show you how to do it, but if you have a computer in front of you, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. So what I want is, if you got any questions, let's talk about it. And I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can. And open forum. Please stop, ask questions. And what I'm hoping is that by the end of this, you guys will have armed with some new information about what we're calling the new normal, is the new digital landscape. And hopefully you guys will be entertained. So ask any questions. Don't wait till the end. Anything that comes in, I'm all about having an interactive presentation here. So the idea is, what we want to talk about is what's called the new normal, right? The visual economy, the reputation economy, and the social economy. This is what the kind of digital landscape has changed into. And so there's three things I want to talk about today. It's a quick introduction about myself, some of my credentials, the reason why I'm here to talk to you guys today. A calibration, what I'm calling it, of the landscape, the digital marketing landscape, the consumer landscape. Full disclosure, as you guys can probably tell, I'm not a realtor. I'm not a real estate professional. I'm a marketer. I've been marketing for a very, very long time. And so what I've learned in my previous life, I want to bring to this particular industry. I think I can be of tremendous value to you guys. But there are some things that I want to talk about. In terms of the overall landscape, and really the idea is, when I say how to succeed, it's not going to be like how to close leads or get more sales or that kind of stuff, on the phone or pounding the pavement. It's going to be all around the framework of digital marketing and the digital marketing ecosystem. So, introduction. So I don't know if you guys have seen this quote before, but the idea is that a minute of video was worth basically 1.8 million words. Now, give or take, the idea this is coming from this gentleman here, Dr. James McQuivey. He's a Forrester marketing research guy. And really the idea about this is that we've had 80 years of being conditioned with TV. And importantly, going all the way back to caveman days, where visual information is processed in our brain better than text information. Your brain retains it. Your brain is more receptive to it. And the idea is that your consumers or your customers and your clients are now becoming trained to watch videos or to engage with visual ads, that kind of thing. So you want to adapt yourself to your changing clients. And I'm going to quote a whole bunch of stats in here. I'm not going to go through all of them. And there is, I don't know if everyone in here is aware of the Google and the National Association of Realtors study that came out a few years ago called the Google House Hunt. They did a big study and really talked about the impact of search, the impact of social, the impact of video, and the idea of what that's done to the realty space. So a little bit about me. That's me. If you check out my LinkedIn, this is kind of a blurb of what I've got up there. The idea is that I call myself creator, producer, marketer, entrepreneur. And really the idea is that like I said, I'm not a real estate person. I've been doing marketing for close to 20 years now. I started off working for a startup doing web design and graphic design, and I got myself into ad agencies. I've worked in some of the biggest ad agencies in the world. I've worked on the client that I managed before I came in here I was the group account director at McDonald's. It's a $100 million media account. Before that, BMO, it was a $50 million media account. Canadian Tire, Diageo, for those who aren't aware, Diageo are the liquor people. They make Captain Morgan, Smirnoff, Guinness, everything you could possibly think of. And I've won a stack of awards, right? So the idea is, what I want to talk about here, when I kind of show this, is that I've got a pedigree. And this isn't something that I just kind of slipped into. This is something that I've worked for 20 years at. I worked really, really hard at this. And I've had the fortune in my life to have worked at some very, very large multinational agencies. And what you get when you work at these large agencies is you get exposure. Like, I've been to their Facebook offices 50, 60 times, the Google offices, Snapchat, like all that kind of stuff. I've been in these spaces, and what happens when you're at these big agencies is that you get front of the line access, right? McDonald's spends $15 million a year on Facebook. So Facebook brings us in and they talk about, here's what's coming down the pipeline. Here's best practices to use these ads. YouTube, same type of thing. So what I've done, and I'm going to get into this in a second here, is I got sick of sitting at a cube. I worked at a cube for a long time, and it's soul crushing. And like you guys, I wanted to be in business for self. That's kind of where I'm at. I worked at a startup very early on in my career. I wanted to get back to that space, and I started up a company. And so what I want to do is I want to take the information that I've learned and the experience that I've gained and bring it to people like yourselves, people who are on the ground, who are doing their own business, who are probably not getting all the best levels of information that are out there, and just coming to you with like I'm getting right from the source. McDonald's and Facebook and BMO and Canadian Tire and all those guys. They get stuff that people on the street just don't normally get. I get access and training and information that people don't normally get. And I'm good at it. I won a bunch of awards, right? So I'm pretty proud of those. So my journey, like I said, was 1996 to 2001. I was in high school here with Kyla, and a long time ago, not that long. But also worked as like an office muppet at BMO, so I've done the office finance job. Got sick of that, went to school, became a world traveler. And then I got a job at a startup in 2003, worked as a portal/product manager for one of the biggest directories in Canada, this thing called GoPro.ca, which is like flooring.ca, roofing.ca, etc. Left the startup and then got a job in 2006 at a very large ad agency called Mediacom, which is 2 out of 3 ads you see on TV are bought by these guys. Multi-billion-dollar company, employee 1 out of 35,000, and worked on brands like this. And all I did for those 5 years, so all I did in 2003 to 2011, all I did was digital marketing. That's it. I didn't do TV. I didn't do out of home. I just did digital. And I took that, and then I had some very senior roles from 2011 to 2017, doing digital and traditional marketing. And in 2016, 2017, I started my own company. So though I've kind of gone on a bit of a ramble here, but the idea is that I know what I'm doing, and I want to share my knowledge because you guys are the kind of people who should learn this stuff. And there's a lot of misinformation and some bad counsel that's going around on the internet that I just kind of want to put a stop to that. So why am I here? What's my angle? Obviously, I've kind of got something here that I'm trying to get out of this. And obviously it's to make money. That's what I'm here. I'm trying to sell you guys something. But what I'm hoping is that I can do 3 things before you give me some money. And number 1 is I want to share some knowledge. I got a lot of knowledge. I won a bunch of awards. My first time at Facebook in their office was 2006. So I've forgotten a lot about digital knowledge. I want to position myself to you guys as a resource. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Is that guys call me up, send me an email. Hey, I got a question. I heard something like this. I need some technical help. I'm not charging for speaking fees. I'm not going to charge you, my time to answer a phone. That's not how I believe in running a business. I want to present information and position myself as a resource, and hopefully what will happen from that is you guys will succeed from that. The digital marketing space has changed pretty drastically, and hopefully I can bring some clarity to the right way to do things, the wrong way to do things, and also to kind of forecast what's coming down the pipeline. And then the idea from all that is that the rising tide lifts all boats. If I help you guys sharing my knowledge, help you guys as being a resource, and help you guys succeed, what I'm hoping is that at the end of that, you guys will call me up and say, I want to make some videos. Now, we do other things like social and reputation management. What I want to do is video. That's what gets me up in the morning. I've done a lot of stuff. So I'm hoping that we can find a way to, you guys, when you guys get some information, you like what I'm talking about, when you're in a position to do this or you're interested in doing something like this, I'm the guy you call. If you don't call up, no biggie, but just, if you want to, give me a call. So introductions aside, I want to talk about the landscape. And you probably heard this buzzword going around, the new normal, right? This is something that I want everyone here to really understand, because the world has changed drastically. And this slide coming up is my favorite slide. I don't know if everyone here has seen this slide. A lot of people have, but this for me sums up everything. Does anybody know what this is?
No.
This is when I can't remember, not religious, that convocation or whatever. This is when they pick the popes, right?
Oh.
That's Pope Benedict. That's Pope Francis. That's 8 years difference. Do you see a single cell phone in that picture? Do you see a single screen in this picture?
One.
8 years later, yeah, one cheesy little flip phone at the bottom, right? This is 8 years later. This is how big things have changed. This is how quickly things have changed, right? There's half the times where I just want to walk after this slide and be like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. If you guys want to know how quickly things...
Give you an example of something like that. Years ago, I was in a conference and they talked about the guy that owned Kodak.
Yeah.
And Kodak was going out of business, and he's trying to explain to his people, how come we're going out of business? And he says, you know, people aren't buying film. He says, how many of you here have digital cameras? Everybody put their hands up. He goes,
Yeah.
that's why we're going out of business.
Yeah, yeah. And they're I mean, they're selling, they're doing Bitcoin now. That's what they've changed to. They're completely out of that space, and now they're making digital currencies. And it's crazy. That's how fast things change. And so I want to be a resource for you guys to help you guys navigate through this space, understand how to do things right, how to do how to not do things incorrectly. And the idea is this, in a nutshell, says everything you guys need to know. So what does this mean for you guys? Well, the idea is that something like this talks about the landscape has changed. Your consumers have changed, their expectations have changed, how to reach them, how to connect with them, how they consume media has completely changed. And what does that mean for a realtor? Well, this is part of the survey that I mentioned, the Google National Realtors Association, or National Association of Realtors survey that was done a few years ago. This is a 4-year-old study. So you can imagine that these numbers were 4 years old when the market was at the top. Right now, things have obviously changed a little bit, so you can see that these numbers have definitely gone up. And but this is still a good benchmark is to understand where things are at. So this is asking buyers and sellers, a panel of like 10,000 people, you know, various questions about what they want from a realtor. Number one, 85% of them want buyers and sellers. They want agents with video, right? The idea is people watch video. Now, I don't know if everyone's aware about why it's such a big deal in Canada. It's not a fluke. In the 90s, the late 80s and the 90s, they laid all the broadband across the country. And what ended up happening was, at the time, it seemed like a huge waste of money. It didn't have a whole lot of payback, and it paid dividends years later. It turns out we're one of the top YouTube people on the planet. Canadians watch video, you know, particularly urban Canadians with, you know, if you go to some other countries a few years ago, you know, they're not getting Bell 5 and they're not getting, you know, hopefully 5G connections. So the idea is that they want agents with video. There's an opportunity for people here. 15% of agents currently use video. There's a land grab here. There's 85% of the people here who could be moving up to this, understanding that their consumers, their customers are actually looking for this. This is vitally important, and this is a big area here where I think I can help. Is that when people are going online, everyone, I'm not sure if you're aware, YouTube is the second largest search engine. Google's number 1, YouTube is number 2. They're not just watching cat videos, it's a resource. When they're looking for real estate information, they're looking for researching community videos, right? So it makes a lot of sense. People are moving from downtown and they're moving out to Brooklyn, or they're moving out to the burbs. You know, maybe they had family that lived there when they were a kid. But you know, a lot of people are coming out here. You're like, I don't know what this area is like. So they're watching videos. They want to see, you know, what the vibe, what the feel of the community is like. So this is an area of opportunity, I think, for anybody in this space to help connect and to help prospect for new customers is to have stuff like this. And then this shouldn't be of any new news to anybody here, but 92% of buyers are using the internet to help find their home. So everything, internet, digital, it's an important space. And I'll get to my second last stat slide, I promise. So what does this mean for you guys, for real estate professionals? The idea is that you're going to have to adapt to connect with your customers, right? So of the people we're talking about when they start to research for their information, 51% of the people that were spoke to use YouTube as their first destination when they're considering buying a new home. Now that doesn't mean show me houses in Bowmanville. It means, how do I qualify to a mortgage? What is bridge financing? Should I stage my home? Questions like this. And, you know, they're thinking 3 months to possibly, you know, 120 days out, their research process. And this is where they're starting, right? They're going on to, obviously they're going on to MLS and places like that, but they're getting themselves in the frame of mind. I put a lot of weight in this because, you know, Google makes pretty good studies. You know, they put a lot of effort into that. So the idea is YouTube. How many people here are posting stuff on YouTube? Yeah, so 15% of agents, 15% of, so there's an area of opportunity here. Again, why using not just video, but also visual? It breaks through. 80% of people are remembering what they see. People prefer video over text, right? We've had 80 years of being conditioned from television. It does that. They're watching videos. 70% of people that were surveyed are watching videos that tour a home. So your listing campaigns should have some sort of element in there. And then the idea is that 90% of the people are using their mobile device. So this is something I don't think is new to anybody in here. cell phones are, you should be thinking mobile first. But not just about how do I target a cell phone, but think about the mindset of what are they doing with that cell phone? Where are they consuming this information? You know, is it, not to be crass, but are they sitting in the bathroom doing it? Are they on a bus? Are they at the GO train station? There's a million places. So when you want to talk to your consumers and break through to them, think about being mobile first. And then my last two stats, I promise. So you guys have probably seen some of these ones here. Part of the Google study, listings with video receive 4 times more lead volume than ones with non-video. 403%, I think, was the exact stat. Yeah, people are watching this stuff. And then the other one here is, I don't know how long this is going to continue because it is a bit of a novel experience right now. But the idea is that videos, emails with video in them are getting twice the click-through rate than normal methods. I remember when emails used to get crazy numbers. I don't know if this is going to sustain. This is just novel right now, and I anticipate in about 18 months, it'll drop back down to normal. People, you guys are running your databases. You know what people are like with that. They get pretty precious. They get pretty guarded. So I think we'll see how this goes. And so wrapping kind of the landscape up, this is an area that I wanted to level set. Has anybody heard of these 3 marketing pillars before? Paid, owned, and earned. Has anybody kind of off the bat know what these are? Okay, that's great. That's why I'm here to talk about this stuff. This is your digital marketing ecosystem, and it is critical to understand these 3 pillars, right? These 3 pillars are what make up, like I said, your overall digital marketing ecosystem. So number 1 is paid. It's exactly what it sounds like. Anytime you pay for an advert, it isn't just digital, but for the sake of this conversation, we'll talk about it. Anytime you pay for an ad, you pay for an ad on search, you pay for a Facebook ad, you pay for an Instagram ad, anything that you actually physically put money on goes into the paid pillar. Owned is your website. Owned is anything that you physically have ownership of, or virtually have ownership of, or have an account to log into. So it's not just like your website and your hosting, but it's also your Facebook page, your Instagram page, your Yelp page, anything, or your CRM database also. It's anything where you can contact people and it doesn't cost you money to contact them. And then finally, earned. This is probably what, anyone who's been doing this for a while, this is your bread and butter. This is word of mouth, and this is PR. Now, how this relates to the digital space is reviews, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So the idea is, my ambition here is to make everyone in the room better at digital marketing. And to get better at digital marketing, really need to understand that all 3 of these interconnect into an ecosystem. And you need to pay attention to each one of these because they have different tactics and they have different metrics and they have different levels of resources and effort that are required to be successful in them. But it's like a water balloon. If you ignore one side, it's just going to squish the water over to the other. And if you don't do it correctly, at some point it's going to burst. And when I say something like that is, you could work on your own activities, and it could save you huge amounts of money in the long run for your paid spend. Your earned activities is working hard on your reviews, and if you work hard on your reviews, it could help your owned in terms of SEO for your site, and it could help your actual cost for your paid activity. So we went through a couple slides. I'm happy to, if you want to answer questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Nothing yet, no pressure.
So in a nutshell, everything's gone digital. I'm a 20-year digital veteran, so what I'm coming here is to just kind of help level set the landscape and be a resource to anybody here that's looking for some knowledge or some help in this space. These 3 pillars are essential. If you're probably not hearing this a whole lot, but this is something when you're thinking about how you do your digital marketing, think of it in these pillars. You guys are probably already doing a bunch of this, but this is just articulating into the fashion that's kind of standard for the overall industry. And I would build out a map. I would build out a map of what your efforts are and what your tactics are within this space. So just a kind of quick summary of the landscape, because we're going to talk, that's the landscape section over. The world has changed. Digital is paramount. Obviously mobile first, that's not really new information for anybody. Buyers and sellers are watching video, they're researching. That's what I would take away from this. They're researching. And so where are they researching? They're researching on YouTube and they're researching on blogs. They expect their agent's activity to reflect how they consume. It's not that they're being demanding, it's just that why you want to ice skate uphill. They're watching video, they're using the internet for a resource. Use that knowledge and leverage it. Be a resource to them in the space that they're looking for. Things like video and image and Instagram stuff, it breaks through the noise. That's the big thing here. More than your banner ads and things like, don't buy banner ads. I made my mortgages are on banner ads. My kids are fat and healthy off banner ads. I'm telling you, banner ads don't work. Don't buy them. Don't waste your money on them. It's just a cash cow. I'm not talking about Facebook. I'm talking the boxes and the rectangle. Don't buy them. If you have them, just stop them. They don't work. And I say this from someone who made a lot of money off banner ads. They don't work. They really don't. They really, really don't. Yeah, and then paid, earned, and owned is an ecosystem that needs to be viewed holistically. Understand this when you have an approach. It will help you develop a larger strategy. So, knowing how the landscape has changed in this summary, how is this important to you guys? Well, I'm going to talk about a couple of things over here of how to succeed in a digital marketing space. Now, I'm going to talk pretty high level and go in a little bit in the weeds. I'm happy to ask any technical questions you may have. I'm happy if you want to follow up with some very, very specific technical stuff. I'm more than happy to do that. But like I said, I've trained like 100 people over my career on how to do this stuff. And I tell you, it doesn't work sitting in a boardroom talking about it. It just doesn't, right? Open up a laptop, give me a call up, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to make you do it yourself. I'm not going to set up a Facebook ad for you. I'm going to walk you through it, and we're going to take a couple steps, and you do it, and then I'm going to make you close the browser, and you're going to do it again. And you do that 2 or 3 times. It's in your brain, and you'll never forget how to do it. If I could sit here and talk about this, you write it in your notes. It's not going to stick in, and I've done it enough times to know exactly that method works. So I'm not going to get too far in the weeds with that, but again, afterwards, if you have specific questions, I'm happy to walk through them. So how to succeed in the economies that are visual, social, and reputational. They're what I'm calling the 5 keys to success, or the success strategy. And really the idea is what I've said is calibrating your approach to digital marketing is really how to be successful in digital marketing. And this isn't to say that anybody in the room hasn't been successful. This is about how to maximize it, how to be really, really good at this space. Get some foundational information and foundational approaches, and as you, because it's not going anywhere, so as you guys work on this over the next 20 years, you're thinking about this from the ground up. And it's got 5 steps to it. There's your audience, your landscape, your tactics, your effort, and your results. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about each of these in the next slides. Audience isn't just about I'm buying 25 to 54-year-olds on Facebook. It's not just that. It's who are you talking to in a larger sense, and things to watch out for. The landscape is like what we've talked about. Tactics are all the various elements within that landscape. So Facebook ads, CRM stuff, etc. Effort. There's 100 different things you could be doing. Nobody has the time to be doing all of them, and you guys should be out selling, doing your thing. You don't want to work smarter, not harder. Don't spend time on things that are just going to be a resource suck. And then finally, looking at results. We'll talk just a few seconds about that, but the idea is that this 5-step approach, this strategy here, if you guys understand this and implement this, should at least get you on the path to being able to be excellent at digital marketing. Any questions so far? Comments, concerns? No? All right. So when I talk about audience, I'm going to just take a second here to talk about this, because as someone who is not a real estate native, the idea is that this is something, quite frankly, that's blown my mind. So I'm doing a lot of research on this space, and I'm talking, looking at various pages and people's activity, etc. And the one thing that I find over and over and over again, which I don't understand why, is that real estate professionals, in my opinion, with maybe the exception of frontline healthcare workers, are the single biggest industry that are the closest to everyday people. You could work in an office and you could spend 3 weeks, and if you have GoTrain, headphones on the GoTrain, you have 3 weeks without ever talking to another human being. You guys talk to dozens of people every single day. And so this is what I don't understand, is that when you guys start to run digital marketing, you completely you do a 180, and you stop talking to people and you start talking to your peers. So I don't know if anyone here is pretty active on Instagram or some of these Facebook pages. And what ends up happening, you post something up on Facebook and it gets a couple likes, or Instagram and it gets a couple views, and everybody gets excited. Oh, wow, I got 55 views and I got 3 comments. Who are commenting and who viewed? They're not net new customers. It's your peers, right? Your net new customers. You're not going to get your net new customers unless you're paying money to get them or you're doing other efforts. So I want to level set this. As someone who spent 15 years in audience development, this drives me nuts. You guys, like, if you're gonna post stuff to your Facebook page or your Instagram page, there's not a whole lot of tremendous value in that because you're talking to people who are your peers. They're not going to, I mean, obviously if you're looking for internal work or referrals or that kind of thing, but for the most part, you know, you're, take your time, take your time.
Didn't even notice you were leaving.
Where are you going?
Break time.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, bashing an Instagram page, it offends you? Sorry. So this is important, and the idea here is that I've seen over and over again people getting excited over vanity metrics like likes, comments, and shares. It doesn't matter because you're talking to people that are your peers anyways. And they really go look through the comments, look at the people that commented. How are net new people going to find your Instagram page? How are net new people going to find your Facebook page? It's your peers, it's your family, it's your friends. Precisely, precisely, right?
Our biggest fan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, I love your, oh, wow, that, yeah. Yeah, and so like, so you think about how you're talking. Like, you know, the big kind of trend now is is on Instagram is the affirmation squares. You know, hustle. You know, hang in there. You know, you may confuse my attitude with my perseverance and stuff like that. You're just talking to yourself. You're not talking to anybody new. If you want to talk to new people, you're gonna have to put in the effort to do that. And it's not coincidence. It is 1,000% by design. So. I have a Facebook page. I put no effort into my Facebook page at all. I post stuff up there just because I like having a repository, but I put no effort in there. And the expectation is, or the reason I do is that I have no expectations from that page. The reason is that Facebook figured this out. Facebook, you know, they would, you know, spend money on getting fans and likes and followers and all this stuff. And then they went public a few years ago, and then they realized, oh my God, why would I let you talk to your customers for free? Then you're not going to buy my ads. And I was in the room when these happened with like Captain Morgan and Smirnoff spent $3 million to build their Facebook page, and then Facebook came in the next day. And they're like, yeah, so you can't talk to anybody anymore. So this is a stat. On a good day, and I'm being very, very generous with this. On a good day, you will only be able to speak to 3% of the people on your social channels. So if you have 400, you're putting in effort, and you get 400 people on your Facebook page, you're gonna get 4 people. That's who you're gonna reach. Facebook.
It's your business page, you're saying.
Your business page, yeah. Your owned social channels. So obviously not your CRM and not your not your CRM, but your Facebook page is worthless. It's utterly, totally, completely worthless unless you're gonna put money behind it. And the reason being is that Facebook did this by design. They switched everything off. They said, okay, I don't want you talking to your people for free. I want you paying money for it. And a good example of this, everybody here is familiar with Coach Tom Ferry, the real estate guy. All right. He is a great example. That guy is like the best in class of what to do on YouTube. He has 110,000 subscribers on his channel. Now, if you look at it, he puts out a video about every 2 or 3 days or so. If you look at this, what he actually gets, now he's got a couple of outliers where he's done something interesting that's gone a little bit viral. He gets on average about 9,000 people per video view. You go check it out yourself, right? Maybe he has 25 and it's been online for 3 years, or maybe he's got some little thing that showed up in an article somewhere and it got big. But on average, his videos get between 9 and 11,000 people. He's got 110,000 subscribers on it. All the effort that guy put in, and that's what the best in the industry is able to do. So the understanding is, when I want to level set about the pillars, is understand what your own channels do. If you want to put money into building up your Instagram page or put money into building your Facebook page, if you're not going to put money into promoting it, you're just wasted effort, right? And it's not a coincidence. Facebook did this on purpose. So, the landscape. You know, we talked about what that was and how to succeed in this landscape. So number one is mobile first. Don't just target the phone, but understand that it's the gateway to your customer and think about how they're talking to. A really good example is targeting. My wife uses this. This is one of my favorite examples. So you're looking for. We used to buy these things on Facebook called First Impressions, and what it was moms at 4 o'clock in the morning that were breastfeeding. The first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you check your phone. Right. So we would run ads at 4 o'clock in the morning, saying, "Hey, are you up? Are you feeding? Check us out. BMO. Get your checking account." I can't remember exactly what the campaign was. So think about stuff like that. Not just I want to buy 25 to 54-year-olds, but really get in the mindset of what you guys are going to know this better than anybody else, and particularly your customers better than I ever could. So what are they doing with their phones? And try to think about that not only when you're targeting, but think about that when you have your efforts. So as I mentioned. Segue is great into utility. And this is where this is where a big chunk is where I'm hoping that when this is all done, if you guys want to engage our services, this is the two areas that we play in very, very well, along with reputation. Is utility. It's not the hard sell. It's the soft sell. So as mentioned, right? Think about a new home buyer or someone who is 2 years ago when when you could put up a house on Thursday and offers would close on Tuesday. Completely different ballgame. Now they're sitting on the market for 8, 10, 11 weeks. Things have changed. So the idea is, you can call up the expired listings and things like that. But there's a larger opportunity here for being a utility, and it's moving beyond the hard sell. It's putting videos up on YouTube, right? How do I get a mortgage? Should I stage my home? Should I renovate? Ask questions that your consumers are going to be asking, and think about, well, they're going to be asking this, so they're going to be looking for stuff on their phone, and they're going to be looking at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're stressing out because they're not going to hit the new mortgage rules, and they're like, oh my God, should I sell my home? Do I need bridge financing? A million different things. Think about things like this and position yourself as a utility, as a soft sell, not as a hard sell. And the idea for this is that if you're a utility, you're a partner, you're not just an agent. You're giving information for free with the intention of that you're building a connection with them. And when the day comes where they want to buy a house or sell a house, you're going to be in a position that they're going to be the one that call you. It might not 100% be the time they call you first, but if you keep an approach like this, you're going to be in the running. And then the idea of utility segues into the idea of the long game. So when you're making content, this isn't just video, this could be blogs, this could be a million different things, but it's utility. Think about the average, Joe Smith out there who isn't a real estate professional, who is either buying their first home or they're selling their first home, or they're in this space. And this is something that they interact with for about 3 to maybe 4 or 8 weeks. And then they don't think about it again for 8 years, right? So you want to position yourself that when they're into that headspace, you're at all the touch points helping them along their journey. And you can do that by making content. But when you do it, what's great about content like that is that it's evergreen. As long as you don't reference, current news topics of the day, you can put a video up or a blog up 4 years ago, and it's still going to be relevant today as long as things haven't drastically changed. And then the idea we talked about over and over again is using visual. Don't just use text, use video. YouTube is a big deal. Work on it. And then I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the end. I don't know how many people in here are active with this space, but I think this is probably going to be something that's new and very, very, I think will be well received from everyone in the room, is the idea of reputation. Reputation management. Digital reputation is the new word of mouth. And it's the first impression for your net new customers, so you got to manage it. And I'm going to talk about this in a second. I'm going to show you some scary examples of people who haven't exampled it. It's fairly frightening.
Can't wait for those.
Yeah, they're great. They're scary, but they're great. So the idea is, okay, so we talked about the landscape changes. These are some things to think about when you're looking at this landscape. If you apply this kind of thinking, you should be set up for success. And then, so when we get into, we've talked about know your audience, know the landscape, and now we're getting into tactics. This is the third step in our strategy to success. It is not just Facebook. This is something I really, 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 really want the room to intimately understand. It's not just Facebook. Facebook has high reach. Facebook has a lot of options. They have targeting options. But with Facebook is people are there to socialize. They're not there to engage with your ad or your brand. They might be tire kicking, and you'll get some leads on there. But there's a whole window of opportunity here that's also available. So obviously, email and CRM. I can't tell anything new to this room about that. You guys are on top of that stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't ignore it, right? Yelp. I mean, who here has booked a vacation? The first thing they've done is go to TripAdvisor and go look at what other people are saying. Right? This is common. So if you guys aren't managing your reputation online, someone is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this later. But it's a land grab. So if you're not doing it, someone else is going to do it. And the sooner you get on this train, the better. Because if you decide in 3 years from now that I want to start working on reviews, and someone who's been working for 3 years has 100 of them already, you might have your friends and family that'll come in, but your net new customers, they're searching, real estate agents, Bowmanville, and whoever shows up on those reviews, they're going to trust. People trust reviews. So Facebook, obviously, nothing new there. Instagram, my personal feeling is that you probably are going to get more long-term value from Instagram than Facebook. You guys can quote me this in 5 years, and if I'm right, you can buy me a coffee or tea. I think Facebook's going to kill ads. That's what I think. I think this whole thing that's going on right now, I was talking about Cambridge Analytica a year ago, and if you guys are watching the news, there's nothing new about this. They weren't hacked. There was nothing unscrupulous about this. Everybody knew that's exactly what they were doing. Facebook is freaking out. Their investors are freaking out. And Zuckerberg has said flat out, he expects in the next 5 years, 100% of their content is going to be video. Now, a bit of insider knowledge from what I've talked to, their value for people is in AI. That's where they want. Banner ads are a pain in the ass. They made their money, right? But where they want is they want to get into your chats where you're talking with your friends saying, oh, you know what? I'm really looking for a vacation. I'm looking for a realtor. Oh, boop. Hey there. Hey, this is the Remax chatbot. I heard you're looking for a location or you're looking for a new house.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
creepy.
that's where it's going to, right? So the idea is that they can get into that and they can stop doing the Facebook ads and the weight loss fast schemes and all that stuff. I'm not a gambler, but if I was going to gamble, I would say that odds are 60% that in the next 5 years, Facebook will kill advertising. And they'll focus on Instagram. Instagram is a big deal. Instagram, you can run video on there. People are there to consume content on Instagram. You're looking at video, you're looking at visual. It's a fun experience. Facebook, you're there to socialize. I want to talk with my friends. Imagine we're sitting here having conversations. Someone shows up with a banner ad saying, hey, buy me, buy me, buy me. It's the exact same type of thing. There's a reason they bought Instagram, and they got Instagram at a steal for that. So lots of places to think about. YouTube, underserved market. YouTube ads, pre-roll ads are not the cheapest, but you know, TV works. As someone who's done TV, let me tell you, the sight and sound, it works. It breaks through the noise. You're not going to maybe get the traction of someone buying a house off running a video ad. But it's the same thing, you know, people buy Tide, you know, McDonald's has 1,500 restaurants and everybody in the world knows who they are. They spend $100 million on TV still because they prompt people to do this. That's an opportunity for you to run ads. You don't need 30-second ads, run 5 or 7-second ads. And then Google, in specific, Google reviews. This is an area where if you look at this whole ecosystem, it's not just Facebook. If you're doing correctly in all these steps, want to come on in? Okay. If you're doing all of these and understanding what each one of these has different tactics and different metrics of success, understanding these will help you make the most of them. And like I said, I'm kind of talking a bit of high level. If you want to follow up and say, hey, you know what should I be doing on YouTube or what should I be doing on Instagram? Send me an email. I'm on the phone all day long. I'm happy to email. But I only want to take an hour of your time, so I could go on for 7 hours about this stuff. And so when I talk about the fourth step in our strategy for success is effort. Now, what I mean about this is work smarter, not harder. And harder could mean the time you put in or the money that you spend. This is what I would consider a pretty representative of the tactics that you'll use and the efforts that they put in. So at the top here is your website, right? Something that people treat as an afterthought here. Don't spend a few $1,000, get it done right. You know, the idea is that, could you imagine someone coming to your house wanting to sell you something and they show up a 96 Ford Taurus? You know, if you want to spend a $50 website, you know, there's a reflection on that. But more importantly is that if you get a good website, in full disclosure, is going to cost for people in this room probably about $3,000 to $5,000, right? It's an initial investment, but if it's built right, you won't need to do anything except minor updates for the next 10 years. It's like a car, you got to build it right. And if you build it right, you don't need to build individual lead pages for your listings. You can just go in and add a new page, and it's as simple as adding an attachment to an email. So the thing about that is that if you build your website right, it'll transition into SEO. Now, I can talk about SEO at the end. I'm not talking about it too much right now because it's a much larger discussion. But the idea being is that that's free money. It's free money. If you manage the architecture of your site, manage the content on your site, what's going to happen is you're going to rank, right? You rank on the search engines. You get on page 1. It's go time. It's fireworks. You're making contacts left, right, and center. But you're not going to get that unless you're either spending a whole bunch of money, or you can take a step in the back and do it right from the outset. And then finally, your reputation. And these three things all link into each other. Your website, how you optimize your website, and what people are reviewing about you. And they should all be interconnected. And the idea is that other than the cost to build a website, these things here don't take a lot of money. But they take time, and their results are slow. It's a marathon. But if you keep a little bit of work like this, like cultivating a garden, like, you know, asparagus, you got to grow it for 3 years before you can eat it. This is the kind of approach to that. You let it grow, and then, you know, because it's not going anywhere, and whoever does this first, you know, this is a race, and whoever jumps on this stuff quickly when they're 3 years out, you're not going to be able to catch up with them unless you're spending tens of thousands of dollars. Utility videos, again, you can think about 20 questions that your customers ask, film those, put them online, do it once, and then maybe do it again a year later. And then as long as they're evergreen, they can just sit there. Hopefully they maybe make a little bit of money, maybe, but they'll answer questions, and it's a passive approach. It doesn't take any major effort other than maybe 48 hours of initial work. Your CRM, you're kind of managing that once a month, you're doing that, but it's starting to pay back. And then you get into your own social channels. Now, your own social channels, they don't take a whole lot of work, but they require time and investment if you want them to work. And that basically means paying for your media. Paying for your media is the easiest thing that you can do, but it costs money. So if all you want to do is just spend money and not be super efficient, you can just jump right to the stage here and it'll work. But if you want to be really effective at your overall ecosystem, is don't ignore these top things. And these top things are just they require perseverance and discipline to understand that it's going to take a little bit of time before these things start to pay dividends. But once they do, they do. That's building the foundation to your house. If you build it right, it's going to stay for 80 years. If you build it, poorly, you're going to be fixing it again in 10 years. So the idea here is that this is, when I think of work smarter, not harder, is that isn't a whole lot of money, not a whole lot of time. That's, not a whole lot of time. That is kind of a little of time, there's lots of money, and somewhere in the middle. Any questions, comments about this stuff so far? All right.
What if you don't want to do videos?
You don't have to. Like you personally, or the
Yeah, me
concept of
personally, no,
videos?
just because I'm not comfortable, I'm perfectly comfortable talking
Yeah.
like this, but
I would
get
say-
in front of a camera and it's one of those.
That's so funny because I feel that a video you did would be so entertaining.
Yeah.
I think you would, don't you think? Like, she's so entertaining.
But you mean as I walk into the room to take a video and I
Yeah.
fall and then I get
No,
up?
like,
Yeah.
I think
So-
I think that you would.
Pulling up your pantyhose? That's.
So
Not the pantyhose
That's-
I'm walking around.
it's a good question. I get it all the time. So there's two things to think about. If you're not doing it, someone else will, right? So the idea of someone searching for, should I renovate my home? We've shown that people are searching for this stuff, right? So they're doing it with or without you. So now the only question you have is, do I want them to find me when they're searching for this stuff? And if you're not playing in the pond that they're playing in, they're not going to find you. So what it means is you have to spend more money on paid media to talk to those people. So they're doing it. I would recommend, doing it. Obviously, that's what I started business for. Do it. Now, in terms of, not wanting to see yourself on video,
Don't look at it.
nonsense. Yeah. So don't look at it. And this is really good. You'll see this. You'll see this advice all over the place. It's nonsense. You guys are real estate professionals. If you can sit in front of a room and you can talk to someone and you can cold call, you're great on video. No one is judging you. No one is. Don't read the comments because it's like people who comment are jerks. Yeah. No, but understand.
Seriously, don't even look at it. Let
Yeah.
one of us run it and we'll be like, that's decent.
Yeah, or even just disable comments. But think about comments that people is, who posts, who's going to post. It's the kind of person that it's not reflective. It's usually schmucks with behind a screen that are they're bullies but that big. But the idea is you're on there. Just do it. Don't watch it. Just put it up. We just did one for a friend who works at Percy Fulton, and she hates herself on camera. Hates herself. She's embarrassed as crap to see it. And then she showed it to her brokerage, and everybody in the room went bananas over this. They're like, "You look amazing. This is incredible." All right. So you got to understand is that you're gonna be your hardest critic.
Yeah, but it's not even more the look. Like, I mean,
Just
just
seeing yourself on camera.
Think it's not going to be authentic?
Not with Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay, can we Photoshop video?
Yeah.
No, I'm just even talking
Yes.
about to talk. Like, it's one thing, like you say, the meetings and stuff. It's funny. People are here. I'm comfortable. But stick a camera in front of me, and all of a sudden, I'll become that news
Yeah.
reporter.
So there's a camera behind you now, right?
Also.
Yeah.
And you're looking. Yeah.
Your talking
Some people who are
changes.
good at it and some people who are not. And I have to agree, when I see some videos, and I like all of a sudden nanosecond I go, move on.
Yeah.
Right? Honestly, I don't watch it because
Hi.
in that first, hi, welcome to.
Yeah. So that's not the approach to take.
Oh my God.
Try because they're doing the
Yeah.
same thing. Who cares? I don't need to introduce the house.
But there's some people
You
who
need
are
to
good
do
at
cartwheels in shorts like that
Yeah.
one girl did.
What you need to do.
Come into the closet. You're saying other things, not necessarily the house, right?
Yeah.
Telling them about the mortgage changes.
Yeah. So okay. So there's. I would break it down into three things. You got to take my word on this part. Is you're gonna come off well. You know, if you have never talked to anybody in your life and you're like an accountant and you sit in a back room, maybe. But how many people do you talk to? You've got your pitch, you've got your charisma down pat. The trick is to get that on camera. Now that working with the right team is a big deal, and that's how that helps. But what I would do is the ones that particular people don't like are the cheesy professional ones where they stand there and like, hi, I'm selling a ShamWow and blah blah blah. Bad, yeah. Don't do those ones. You want a casual one, you know, something like what we're doing right now. You're on camera, right? And it was the back of your head,
I
right?
was gonna say, it's the perfect
It's the back of your head. But no, but
my good side.
your personality is coming
Sucked
through.
in.
Your personality is coming through. And so the idea is that you work with a community video. I would say I'll get into the different types of ones, but a community video is the number one thing that everybody here should be doing if you're focusing on a community. If you work all over Ontario, probably not, but I imagine everybody in the room here has got a specific area that they're farming, right? That's what I would do. Standing in front of a camera at Old City Hall in Bowmanville, or you know whatever wherever they do the biker fest thing, is hi, I'm at Bowmanville town. Don't do that. Did you have people walking down the street going, oh yeah, so you know this is where they have the Apple Fair and they have
back
the,
in?
I really don't want to do that to you guys, but I'm
and they have the Butter Tart
Last
Festival
time.
and stuff.
Okay.
The idea is you try to film it in a casual manner. So you know we've got this up here because this is for me. I've done this enough times that I'm comfortable with this. But the idea is when you're doing something like this, you want that. That's why we use tiny little cameras. We don't use these big ENG things because they're
Be yourself.
yeah, exactly. We use these little ones. They just look like someone camera. He's in the back. You haven't heard this guy all day, right? He's sitting in the back. We'll show you the footage afterwards. You're gonna love it. You come off as charisma because it's discreet, it's in the back, and you're just doing your thing, right? So the idea number two is what we do is we film discreetly. Let's call it like that. And then we film a lot. And the idea is you don't want to do any. Oh, it's the other thing. Videos no longer than a minute. You know, we've done a couple of them longer. Don't do anything more than a minute. People aren't watching more than a minute. If you do a 7-minute video or an 8 video, yeah, you have a minute if you're lucky, right? So keep it a minute tops.
Minute
I got
to
a quick
minute.
question, sorry to interrupt, but I heard recently that if you're doing live video should be, what did they say?
Like 10 minutes
I think
plus.
it was Danny. Danny
Yeah.
said that live video should be really, really long.
Yeah.
10 to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
10 minutes.
And
Yeah.
so like,
Yeah,
what else
yeah.
So if you do a
say?
live video, then you
So
want to
can I-
publish it, you should publish it.
So
Everyone's attention span is like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
to a
Well, I
minute.
guess
well, so yes and no. There's both, right?
Watch
So
children and how they behave in the car.
Well,
Well,
I'm thinking live video,
Yeah.
the reason why
Right.
they're saying doing a really long strip of live
Yep.
video so you get more people
here's what I think about live video. Who are you talking to?
Who's
Right.
watching?
Yeah,
Your
who's watching?
kids.
Yeah.
friends
So
that come
there's
online.
Facebook has scuttled Facebook Live as a priority. This is a great question because that's why I want to come here and talk about a level set of someone who has a depth of experience to really rethink all the stuff that you're doing. You have a live video. Who are you talking to? You know?
Especially for that long.
Yeah, but even if who are you talking to? It's not people walking in off the street. Oh, I've heard there's a live video. I'm going to watch this. It's the people on your page. It's your mom. It's your aunt. They're watching it, right?
Because some of
Right.
the real estate coaches that we subscribe to already right now, they're all saying
I would-
do live video.
I would
Everybody
not do
loves
live video.
Really?
I would 1,000. I would 100,000%.
I don't know. Everybody likes my concert videos I post.
That's your
and stuff
concert
like
videos
that.
because you're
They're
pirated
choreographed.
content. Hey, I would try it. You put on Facebook Live now and then just sit there and talk all day long, right?
Oh, no.
The idea is
They're
that
all fun.
I did
It's-
one.
it's-
It's awful. I'm like, hello there. It's like, it was
Yeah.
awful.
But again, who are you talking to?
Whatever.
Right? You're talking to
Yeah, you
your
live well.
friends and family. You want to
Yeah.
talk to customers. Customers aren't going to stumble. Like maybe if you're on Periscope, maybe. But chances are it's going to be a teenager in Japan that wants to watch something, right?
Oh
Your
my God.
yeah, seriously, yeah, right. We did one. I won we did one for Facebook or for McDonald's, and I won an award on it. And it was for, I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, National Friday. This is a made-up holiday, but it was French Friday. And what we did is we partnered with Twitter, and we put a camera on a deep fryer. We ran it for 24 hours, just bubbling and putting it in the scoop, and it did amazing. It did amazing because people want to watch this, and like there's a value
Really?
exchange here. We couldn't believe it. We thought
Oh
it's
my God. It's like the log fire. The fire.
yeah, the log channel, right? These are novelties, right?
That's-
But ask yourself, when was the last time you watched a live video for an hour? I do believe in long form content, and if anybody doesn't believe in long form content, when was the last time you binged on Netflix? People will sit down for 8 hours and watch stuff, right? But it's got to be compelling, and it's got to be
It's got to be a lot higher if you want to
Yeah,
keep
today
it
we
on
know.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Should we be fighting over like houses?
yeah, you know, but it could be like if. But what are you doing that's so compelling that someone's going to watch a video for an hour except talk, right? It's peers talking. Now, if you guys watch the latest videos from the Wheelhouse and he's sitting down with Skylar, whoever it is, right? How many of you guys actually sat down for an hour and a half of that video? You watch 10 minutes of that stuff, right? Make long form content if it's something like this is perfect long form content. This is just me talking and giving information for an hour. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and if you like it, great. If you don't, right? But I'm talking to industry people. I'm doing B2B here. If you want to talk to your consumers, your net new prospect, I will tell you, as someone who has 20 years extensively more experience, don't do it. You can, but it's just a waste of your time, and it's going to eat up your bandwidth. And at the end of the day, what is the value exchange? What on earth is a person who is going to buy a house? Why are they going to sit around for an hour and watch you ramble? And what they have, they're busy. They have kids. They have jobs. They have commuting. They've got soccer practice and band practice. Make it short and digestible. Make it a minute. You know how you know make it a minute? Instagram has made billions of dollars, and they have built white papers and PhDs who have researched the crap out of this. Excuse my French. They know it. You know, you guys don't need to reinvent the wheel. Instagram has figured it out. There's a reason you can't upload a 61-second video to Instagram. Is because they know that 60 seconds is it max. So make them short and digestible. We make a couple longer just because a special request, but we're not happy about it. And we'll tell you, make a FAQ video that's 30 seconds, make a community video that's a minute, profile video.
If someone sends me a video that's more than a minute, I'll check
Nobody
to
does.
see how long. I don't
The
know.
I watch my kids' dance concert for that.
yeah, nobody does. Yeah, it's
like, okay, I'm on to the next thing.
yeah, just because you can does yeah, exactly. And so the stat is you have 7 seconds to gain someone's attention on a web page, right? Actually about 3. Right? We have short attention spans, so keep it short and digestible. And if you want to think about what to do, think about Instagram. That Instagram is
a perfect example of that.
Sure.
I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. She is YouTube addicted.
Yep.
Literally. Seriously. And she's 5. She's been doing this
And
since
they
she
just
was 3.
cycle through the playlist, right?
Yeah, she literally watches it for 30 seconds tops, goes on to the next one. And she does this all the time. And
Now,
I'm thinking,
if you brought her to go see the Wiggles, she'd sit down for an hour and a half and watch the Wiggles.
she does.
Because that's something she watches, right? So understand, if you want to do long form content, I can't imagine there's anybody in this room that has got something that they want to talk about for an hour that the net new people want to talk about, right? Yeah, it's like it's just maybe you stream a hockey game or something like that. Don't do it. Okay, so I've been rambling on here, but live video, I'm going to tell you from someone who's been in the Facebook office and had Facebook tell you, we're deprioritizing live. It turned out to be a disaster. Yeah, live video is making stuff for the sake of making stuff. If you just want to make crap and put it on your page, do it. But your efforts would probably be better spent, answering 10 questions. What are your common questions? Making them 30 seconds. Make it so people are going to watch it versus just making stuff because there's a button that has live. And I'm gonna unless you want to talk to your peers. If it's you're trying to be a thought leader in the real estate industry, and you've got something a panel discussion. A panel discussion is a great idea, a great example of long form content. But who's going to watch that? So that would be what I would.
A good one who does that in our industry is Tim Palmer.
Yep.
He's a home inspector, and he'll do these 10-second little clips. Need a home inspection, he'll show something weird or
Exactly.
I just saw one this morning. It was
Yeah.
very good.
Right?
Who has an hour to watch a video?
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't have that kind of time. Do you guys? No. Your customers certainly don't have that kind of time. And when they're thinking about buying a house, they're not in that frame of mind. If you make Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones spends $100 million an episode. There's a reason you'll sit down for an hour and watch that, right? You want visual effects and all. And then at the end of the day, this is the big thing to remember. People are watching on a screen that's 2.5 inches by 1 inch big, right? So you're going to sit there for an hour and not a chance, right? Keep them short, keep them digestible, and don't reinvent the wheel. Instagram there's a reason that they don't let you do long videos. There's a reason that Facebook ads are 7 seconds in general. So I'm okay with live video but it has to have a very specific purpose, and you have to be aligned to who you're talking to.
Podcasts, if you want to do something.
Podcasts are great. Because podcasts are passive. You can just put a podcast in your ear. You can ride the treadmill. You're going to run on a treadmill with a camera, right? But podcasts are good. But again, podcast, you can probably get 20 minutes. But then, what are you going to talk about, and who are you going to talk to? Like, what on earth are you going to talk to for an hour? That like a consumer is going to watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. That's actually a terrific example. If you wanted to talk about stuff that isn't real estate related, but you just something that's a passion project, that's a great example. But you know, if you're going to get up here and talk about, here's all the reasons you should go with Remax Rouge for an hour and a half, but you could make, yeah. And so just to close the loop on this, there's a whole bunch of ways to do video. I think as long as the bad ones are where they're stuffy and they're not built natural. You can do them natural if you film discreetly. But more importantly, you don't have to make a video that's you standing in front of something saying, "Hi, I'm I'm at Remax Rouge and you should buy me because I'm great." Is B-roll of Bowmanville, B-roll of the new highway, the 412 extension, B-roll of the lakefront, things like that, and then a voiceover at the top that says, there's ways it can be done. I have an example up here. I'll show you that.
I was thinking more, it's also the script part.
Yeah, so we have a teleprompter and we've used it twice and the results are horrible. Yeah, they're horrible, right? They're absolutely horrible. And we have this one guy and he was all excited and he just sat there and he's like, "Hi, my name is Jan Anthony Mendoza." Yeah, and they're darting back and forth. You do this. If you were an accountant, it would be a completely different story. But you guys have charisma. You guys wouldn't be any good at this job if you weren't able to get up and have a chat and have a beer, have a conversation. You need to translate that onto the camera. And the way you
go to a bar, drink beer, and talk about
1,000%. Oh my God, yeah, 1,000%.
So a few glasses in.
Yeah, like we have Erin, and she's in her backyard. She's in her backyard in her patio in her backyard. 1,000%. Yeah, and the idea is we're not going to put you on camera for 45 minutes going, "Oh, it's sitting in your back." You're going to talk. So when you work with a good company, right? They'll have a bunch of questions that will guide you. And we're like, "Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?" "Oh, I don't like to talk about myself." "Okay, well, where are you from?" "Well, I'm from Scarborough. I grew up in West Hill, blah 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 blah." And we'll record the audio. And then what we'll do is we'll take shots of West Hill and we'll take shots of Scarborough and we'll put the audio over. Scripts are good for FAQs because you need to answer, why should I get a mortgage? Typically, I don't even like scripts because you know what you're going to talk about. I would rather you just talk for a minute and a half about why someone would need a mortgage broker over getting a mortgage from a bank. Just answer that question and talk naturally, and then we'll cut that down into 30 seconds. That's what I would say. But at the end of the day, you don't necessarily need to be on camera. Do a community video or do an FAQ video, and if you do a profile video, the profile video is going to be all the stuff that makes up you and very little about you standing in front. We have screens. Nobody uses them. You don't need to do it. You don't need go out and about. Go to the beer at the hockey game. Where your kid's playing hockey on a Saturday morning. Yeah, you get a wireless mic just like this. It just lavs up. You just throw the audio recorder in the backpack and sit there. The audio was great. You can just sit there while your kid's playing games. Yeah, every Saturday morning, I like to get my Timmies. I like to watch my kid. He's doing well. Blah 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 blah. And record something like that. That's the approach you want to take because in a day. You're trying to sell you. You're trying to make a connection. And if your connection is authentic and natural, people are going to watch that. If it's you standing in front of a screen going, "Yeah, I like to watch hockey and drink Tim Hortons," no one's going to watch that. So when you make a video, that's the idea. Pick a good company. You don't necessarily go with us. You can go with anybody. But if they come in and they say, "Here's your script. I want you to talk about it and get in front of the screen," turn around and get out. They should be filming you with little teeny cameras with a wireless mic. And that's the only way to do it. We've done like 200 something videos at this point, and I'm telling you, we learned trial by fire because we did. I spent a lot of money buying all the screens and doing all that stuff, and they're garbage, utter garbage, right? But you get out and talk to people doing their thing, it works. It works.
How do you get traction on any of these videos? I mean, I've posted stuff 4 years ago that still has 50 views.
It's
depressing.
So we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Is it just you standing in front of the camera?
You need more friends.
It's a good segue into results.
I wasn't at the bar.
Yeah. So the idea is that's great. We want to calibrate the level set of expectations. So you put up a video, what's the kind of video you put up? You gave me this subject.
Like a picture tour of a house. Nothing.
A picture tour. So
it's almost like an animated photo album, basically.
Yeah, those are horrible. Those are horrible. Other people watch
it. The fact that nobody's even viewed them does not even.
But again, when we talked about Tom Ferry. Right, he has 110,000 people on his subscribers, and only 9,000 people watch his video. So if your Facebook page has 300 people and only 55 views, that's great. What you want to do is promote it. But what you want to do is your listing video should be part of your listing. It should be on your site, and it should be anybody that you're talking to. right? But the expectation, you're gonna get 5,000 people to watch a video.
No, thank you.
No.
I'm thinking mostly on YouTube.
On YouTube, it's just a place to house it. And YouTube is only for if
There's no
you
way to boost on YouTube and all that.
you can. But what do you want to boost for?
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, but what do you want to boost for? Because it's,
Views.
the views are volume isn't important. It's the quality, right?
Wow,
If you put it on,
Oh,
you guys.
Showing us her hair. No, we were talking
Oh, yeah. Okay.
serious conversation.
It's all good. It's just so Paul was asking a question here about YouTube, right? So the understanding is, so my example from I keep calling him Tim Ferry, Tom Ferry. I can't remember which one. Tom Ferry, yeah. I keep thinking of Tim Ferriss, the 4-day workweek guy. He's got 100,000 people on his sub list, and his videos, he puts one up, he only gets 8,000 people. So he's getting 8% of the people who are watching his videos. So if you're getting 55 people watching your video, how many people do you have on your? Remember, we already talked about 3% of people on your Facebook page are going to watch it. So the idea is that if you're putting up a video for something like a listing, right, you've got to spend money to promote it. Put an ad up on Facebook, put an ad up on YouTube, put it out in your CRM, put it in your listings material. But the idea is a listings video isn't necessarily for a net new customer. A listing video should go up on possibly on an MLS listing or something like that. Where you want to get numbers is utility. Community videos and how-to videos. Your community video, if you tag it, here's Bowmanville, here's what is that whole Liberty area or Scugog or whatever it is up there. This is our new neighborhood, and you put that on YouTube, that'll get traction because that is larger interest versus here is 15.3 Kenneth Hobbs or whatever the hell your stream was called.
Kind of, it ends up getting its own traction.
It'll get its own traction, but have realistic expectations. Why do you want 500,000 people to see it? If 55 people are looking at your video on a listing, it's 55 people are pretty close down to the purchase funnel, right?
So we have listings at Wilmot Creek that aren't going anywhere, so what we should do is get golf carts.
That's what I was thinking of doing, is doing an info video about
The
Wilmot.
three of
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
I'll have golf carts chasing each other down the road.
My question was about
To fight
creating
who's selling
ads.
first.
That's
because
right.
When
Yep.
I create ads on Instagram or Facebook,
Yep.
I'm doing it ignorantly, like I'm blind, because I don't really know how to structure an ad for it to be effective. Like I'm just creating the ad because I can, but I don't know whether or not
What's
that
the kind of
is
ad that you're doing?
effective.
It's trial and error.
Just
That's right.
listed for like a property, an ad for a property, or an ad for Robin and I.
Now, are you?
specifically.
So I've seen a few of these ones. Are these ones you're putting money behind, or these ones you're
Yeah.
putting on your Instagram pages?
No, the ones that we do on Facebook are paid.
Mhm.
But my question to you is there's got to be some sort of formula as to how to structure an ad so it's effective, or is there not?
Is this that change? Probably changes like every.
Like verbiage, how it looks. I've heard things like, oh, if you put more emojis in it, people love emojis. So if you put a ton of emojis.
Yeah.
When we went to the AREA conference in Toronto
Yeah, I've
like
heard-
a month ago,
I've heard the
all of
emojis.
these,
I've heard the-
gurus were saying,
yeah.
oh, everybody loves emojis.
The social.
If you put a blurb like this big, who
Yeah.
wants to read it? That's the way
Yeah.
I'm just very like
Yeah.
short and sweet, right?
Yeah,
So get to the point and kind of bullet.
So
I don't know.
look at. So it's a good question, right? There isn't a standard format like 3 seconds for a title intro, something like that. Right off the bat, you want to have you probably want to have a title of your brand, another listing from the Soloka sisters, and then nice visuals. Really nice, not like images slapped together like still images, but do a video, and then try and see what works. But I would keep your ad to like 5 or 7 seconds, and then target it, and then see what your views are like. But there's no standard format. But remember a couple things to keep in mind. It's a screen this big, so big sweeping vistas are lost on that. It's not going to do anything, right? You want to have close-ups of people, close-ups of shots.
This right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then just run a bunch of them. And then are you doing a strong call to action like, hey, book us for an
No,
appointment?
that's the weakness in
So-
all of the stuff that we do is we're so like, oh, call us if you want to.
Yeah, book a Instagram.
Don't call now, call later.
Tell them what to do.
Yeah.
We're very passive about that, and
Yeah.
I find that we do so much, but I don't feel like the percentage of effort to return
Yeah.
is on line.
In the
Yeah.
Pitchman's thing, it's ask for the money. You
Yeah.
need to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
Something to ask for the money.
So there's a couple ways to do things. One is you can pique interest by like, hey,
Voting, I've seen a lot of people do the voting.
voting. That's what I'm
buttons.
trying to get to.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you think this house is? This $1 million or $1.5 million? People
Do you
will
hate
gain
it or
interest. Do you hate it? Yeah. Do these drapes look like so and so? Or
Yeah.
do they look like from the Kardashians? Stuff like that. That's a good way to approach it. I would say number one, just put a strong call to action, and make a good quality video. And then the expectation is on your Instagram activity, you have to look at the results. And so if you've got 100 views on it, what have you got a geographic area that you've targeted to and you've paid for your ads on there? But I'd say overall a format, keep it short, keep it up to the point too. Yeah, just like Saloka Sisters, latest latest Newcastle listing, and
I think
Yeah.
it's easy as realtors to get really discouraged when you see certain other realtors that are like celebrity status kind of realtors, and you see that you're like, there's no way I can compete with that,
Yeah.
right? You're like,
How do I
No names
do
coming
what
in.
they're doing?
or I just don't
No,
want to,
right?
right? You're just like, I don't want to be that, or I don't want to do that.
Well, that's
And
what
I think
yeah,
it's
I don't
gonna
wanna be
fade
that-
away because honestly,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
really watches
But
those
again-
videos when I'm walking through
Yeah.
the living room? You
Yeah.
can't see anything but
But
me
again,
talking.
and-
so-
and
But-
this
but
is-
if
and this
they're-
is
if they're
a-
good at it, right? So I think McDougal does a good job at it,
but
personally.
I would also put it
Because-
back.
I'm not one
but,
to watch
you know,
them.
whether you watch it or not is
Give
probably
me the
not
pictures.
relevant.
Yeah.
But he sells it to his clients that this is what I'm gonna do for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And they think, wow, this is gonna sell my house.
Yeah,
They
and then
think
it
that,
could be.
but it's not.
But
they
again,
do, though?
I would take back to my earlier slide. There's who are you talking to? You guys are all watching his ads. Are you guys going to buy his house?
No.
Right. So that's what I would take. This guy's a celebrity. He's a celebrity guru because he's trying to be a celebrity guru to you guys.
But
Who's
the point is, he's selling that to his clients, and they think.
yeah.
So it's not that he's a
That's it.
celebrity guru to us, he's
No.
a
Yeah.
celebrity guru to the people that he goes and does his listing presentation
But that's
to.
what Stu was saying, that those people expect, maybe because they interact a lot on social that way,
Yeah.
that Michael's just giving them what they want.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that 90% of his views are from other realtors.
Yeah,
Basically,
exactly.
it's from
E-
customers.
exactly. And so those
I'm not
customers.
looking at them.
Yeah.
That's why I said, don't be friends with other realtors.
And like
Yeah.
their pages,
And like their
please.
pages,
Yeah,
stop
just
liking
stop,
at
stop
other
talking to your
realtors'
peers, and
pages.
so that's exactly what I would say. Is that this guy? He's making a good
That's
appearance.
right. Yeah, like, see you guys.
Everybody's
But look-
not-
Everybody's befriended.
Yeah, but then look at his comments. Is that, oh, why I'm moving out to Bowmanville and I really like that house, or oh, hey, bro, nice ad, can't wait to see you on Thursday, right? It's those are the people talking, and I would be so making good content, building frequency, putting out regularly is a great example. But I would also just be very cautious about how far you dig into it, because again, you guys are all seeing these ads. He doesn't want you to see these ads, right?
Yeah.
So-
It's very hard not to get caught down the rabbit hole of seeing other people do things and seeing them have success. You don't know whether it's directly related, like
One time,
Yeah.
And so
one
you
time
think-
success.
and you kind of think like, well, shit, do I have to start doing that now?
Yeah, but you
Because
also
they're
gotta
doing
wonder
that.
if it really, if they do have as much success
Yeah,
as
yeah.
they say they do.
Yeah, and we have
because-
no way of
Yeah.
knowing.
No,
And
we
so
That's
it's
what I
very
think.
muddied
I
as
think.
far
I
as
agree with that.
knowing
Yeah.
what
Totally
to do.
looks like they
Facebook
have
is
because-
everybody's fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I mean,
it's
like anybody, and I know a couple people that, honestly, what their Facebook is, I'm sitting there going, that is such bullshit, because I just talked to you and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not
Are you talking
even,
about me?
It is, and that's and that's why that's why I started this job, because there's you guys are getting bad information, right? And it's like,
overwhelming.
yeah, I would say so here to break it down a couple of really simple steps. I would do keep frequency, keep doing your Instagram ads. Don't do your organic posts. Do your Instagram, like put money behind it and pay for it. If it's listing, spend maybe $50, $100 a listing. You maybe not get it all back, but you'll put it up there. Do it frequently, but then put a call to action. Say, email us now, call us now. Put it right at the top as soon as you can, and prompt that action, right? And then gauge it. Yeah.
Those are useless. Listing ads are useless. I did so many last year, spent so much money, there's nothing.
Yeah.
People like it,
In the
like it, like it, like
beginning,
it.
before everybody was doing them, I used to get lots from
I think
it,
they
but
get
the
sick of
last
it.
6 months
Yeah.
last
now
year.
it's like-
And you got to think about if there's
Waste of
someone
money.
who's buying, saying I'll take your listing ad for $150 a month, and there's 400 people on their customer list. You're all fighting for the same thing. So this is why when I talk about, I'm going to jump back here. This is why this is so important. This is where everybody's playing right now. It's expensive. There's not a lot of return. This is where you guys should be playing, and let me talk for a while. So I just want to get into the reputation stuff, and then I'll shut up because I think it's going to be critical for everyone here. Play here, play here. You know, you don't need to buy ads. What you need to do is build your content, put utility videos out there, let that work. That's not going to cost you anything to promote if you put them up there. But if you put up something that there's a value exchange, this is where I think the big opportunity is here. But if you guys don't want to do it, then you got to do this space, and this comes with all the nonsense that's involved in that.
But I had to leave the room for a minute when you first started this, but so many people are giving up their websites now. You know, like, I'm sure you've talked to people that are saying the same
They
thing.
don't want a Facebook page or whatever.
Yeah, they're giving up.
Yeah,
a lot
they
of
reach
realtors are
3% of their
giving up
audience.
their
Yeah.
You need to
websites.
have a
Stupid.
good
Bad-
custom website.
Yeah,
That's
you,
the
you,
problem.
you absolutely do. And
I
you
get
guys
a
are
lot
real
of
estate
leads.
professionals. Could you imagine showing up at someone's house with a beaten up old car from the 90s? Would you take that person seriously? Your website, the internet is built around that entire space. It's not going anywhere. Just do it. Just do it, please, God, just do it. Get a good just get it. Like, I don't, you know, I can refer you guys. I don't build websites. I have a guy if you want a person who does them well, right? But shop around. You know, look up. I need a WordPress website built, right? You're going to spend, you know, this is what it costs. It's going to cost $3,000 to $5,000, right? Because they're going to build logos, they got to get stock images, they're going to do it. But that website will incorporate your CRM, it'll incorporate your reviews, it'll incorporate your listings, it'll incorporate all of your content. Just do it. Just do it. That of all the areas to cut corners on and cheap out on, that is not the area to do it. If you get a website that has what's called a CMS, is a content management system, where you just log in, like you log into Netflix, there's a little button that says add page. I'm going to add a new listing for 1234 King Street, right? You add a page, and it's the easiest thing in the world to do. You want to keep building this content, and I'm going to jump into why you want to build that content in a second, because this is the area of opportunity. Nobody's playing in this space. This is where you want to play. This means building content. This means building a good website. This means optimizing your website. This means managing your reputation. This means putting utility. And if you do all this stuff, it'll pay off. But you can ignore all this. You can completely ignore it. You don't need to do any of this. But all you're going to do is spend money here. And you're going to be everybody who's spending, you're just competing with everybody. This is a land grab right now. You do this now and you do this correctly. And my intention when I come to present these things is I don't expect everybody in the room to call me up. I think 1 or 2 people are going to call me up, right? And those 1 or 2 people, we're going to do it right, and then they're going to get light years ahead of everybody else. So in 2 years from now, you're like, oh, you know what? My Wix website's $50 a month, and it's garbage, and now they're taking it away from me. And the guy who's like, I got a custom website I got for $4,000, and guess what? It's mobile responsive, and it has my listings feeded directly into it. They're laughing. They're not. They spent the initial money, and they're doing a little bit of work, a little bit of teeny cultivated work, and it just pays dividends for years to come. This is just money. Facebook. Google has
That's
it.
going to the gym and eating right, and that's taking the pills.
Yeah, exactly. This is putting on the sweatsuit and hitting the treadmill to make weight. This is cutting out the sugar and doing yoga every morning, right? This is common sense, guys, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. Is to do this stuff here. If you want to keep doing this, do it. But you're gonna just keep being disappointed. It's just gonna keep costing you money, and it's gonna get a saturation.
What do you think of
Sorry, you guys, a couple questions.
social on Instagram, like the organic sort of?
Instagram is great.
No, there's Stim Social. Have you heard of that?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's not like buying.
They're just giving you
followers.
hashtags and stuff.
No. I have it on for something else that I have another business
Yep.
with, and it just organically. I think it just follows people for you.
Yep.
And then they follow you back.
Yep.
And then it goes back and forth, but it's usually anything in your area. And like 2 weeks ago, I only had 200 followers, and now I have 800.
Yep.
And it's all been just like people
Are they
are in
local?
the area.
Have any of those 800 called you up?
My business is something different than that.
Have any of those 800 profit? yourself?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah?
yeah. for
So
that
then,
business.
if it's working, I would do it. My business, I filmed the Easter Day Parade in Pickering. That's where I live, Pickering. I filmed the Easter Parade on Sunday. I put it up. I put hashtag Pickering, and then you get people in the neighborhood. So I can do stuff like that. Apologies, I don't know enough about it to give. I'll look into it. I don't know enough to give an educated opinion on it. But there are really simple ways. If you're going to post on Instagram, post hashtag Newcastle, hashtag whatever, and try to get in those local areas. But that's how you're going to reach net new people. It isn't going to be posting on your page about your listing here.
Can't you just do that for us?
Well, I can if you want. But it's
That's right.
yeah, it's there's an option for that, and we can talk about that later. But
Is it
Um,
queso?
You had a question, sir?
No, I was gonna make a comment about the Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I think that Facebook content is okay to have and put on your Facebook page, but in regards to paying ads that you actually get a return on,
Yeah.
I think it's all about trying different landing
Yeah.
pages and see what actually works for you.
Works.
I spent over $7,000
Yeah.
last year trying to perfect my ads.
And could you
compared to
imagine
what
if you
works.
spent half of that making 30 FAQ videos answering common questions and put that up on YouTube, right? You could make that stuff and you don't have to put money behind it. Facebook ads work if you're selling a product, if you're selling a book, if you're selling a credit card, if you're selling something like that, because there's enough there. You guys are selling a service and you're selling a very, very high-end service. So you gotta get out of the weeds and think about selling the weight loss pills approach. Is you got to get into you're a partner. You're not the hard sell anymore. And the hard partner comes from being a value exchange of utility and knowledge.
But Facebook ads, I generally use it to inquire leads, okay,
Yeah.
for a certain service. So even if you spend, let's say, $1,000 a month,
Yep.
within if you have one client call you from that in, let's say, 2 months,
Yep.
6th of the year, it pays off a lot.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's not far fetched. It works. You just have to try and find the right.
And you got to spend
landing
a
page.
lot of money. And again, so we talked about effort, right? Do you want to put how many hours? I mean, you can pay people to do it, or you can put in the time yourself. But to really, and then to do that kind of optimization, it's like an iceberg. When you need to have your pages tagged, you need to have variant copy, variant images. There's a whole slew of work. Go deal with someone who does it. That would be my approach. Is pay someone who does it, but get the numbers back. And if you get numbers back, I'm happy to review them for you and give my 2 cents.
I think what's happening is we're getting so many, we get rid of your website, get landing.
Don't get rid
pages.
of your website.
Get rid of your Facebook, do this. There's so much conflicting information
Because it
that we're
changes so
getting.
Yeah.
fast.
So that's what I'm here for.
It's like everything is.
And I'm gonna try not to bash too much, but the people giving that information figured out Facebook in 2016.
I think if
Yeah.
you
Been
integrate
it for
your
20 years.
website with social media, that's the
Yep.
best way to go.
Yep.
And
And that's what I have.
that's
I
how it
have
works.
my website is runs everything. I have a Facebook page, Instagram page, YouTube page, etc. You can have a branding page, like for a one-page thing to capture leads. You can do that, but again, why wouldn't you just get a website that you can generate one page on top of that? And it could be stuartstevenson.com/1234 King Street versus getting a little page that has 1234 King Street on it. You're giving up all that information. You're giving up this idea of cultivating your activity. The more you're doing this, the more people are responding to your site, the higher your overall SEO rank is going to be. So I've been talking for a while here, so I'm going to just jump through the last of it. I appreciate everyone's time here. So we talked about the digital economy, videos. I don't think I kind of hammered this point home. These are some stats we talked about here, but really just keep in mind these 3 things here. They're using 86% of people surveyed are using it to plan out their community, 70% are touring inside of a home, and 54% are trying to obtain general information. Your customers are on there. Whether or not you want to get on there, that's the only choice you have. And someone else is going to do it before you, and that's the opportunity you're going to miss. So think about it. Think about, you don't have to do it. You don't want to be a camera. You don't have to be a camera. But if she wants to be a camera, she's going to get your customers because they're going on there. So that's what I would say about it. And we talked about video, an essential tactic, YouTube and Google and stuff. So I'll send this afterwards. This is a community video. This is a great one from Santa Barbara. Does anybody really want to watch this? You guys kind of get the idea of what a community video is?
Yeah.
I really want to get into the reputation before I wrap it
How
up.
long is it?
It's 2 minutes, yeah.
It's 47 minutes long.
Yeah. I'm going to skip through the video stuff if you guys don't mind. We've talked at length
Is there
about
one
this.
about a bad video though? That
Bad.
one?
No, there's bad reputations. There's lots of bad videos. I want to get in reputations. That's the area where I think I'm kind of going a little bit longer here than planned. So if I have to, before I leave, this is in one area. I think I've hammered the point that video is important. Your customers are using video. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. You want to know how to do it right, come talk to us or talk to anybody. But we've got the credentials to show you how to do this correctly. So FAQ video. I'm going to show you just one because I'm sorry. It's one we've done here. This is an agent profile video. This is what we did for.
I've seen some of those, and they all seem to be the same. The agent sitting on the couch saying,
Hi, my name is Vesna Whalen. The reason why I got into real estate was because I just love helping people.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a Capricorn, and but they all are just so much.
I would
Actually,
never
yeah.
do a video like that. Like Robin and I, when we first started doing like our live videos, it was very uncomfortable. And then finally,
Yeah.
I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna
Do you
do
got-
my own self on the video.
Yeah.
It made it so much easier.
But you know what I mean,
Yeah.
though? Like
That's
most of
it.
the
I
agent
like
profile
that
ones, they
better.
say the same thing. I got
Well,
into
yeah.
real estate because I want to help people.
And all
I
the,
so
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy
and all the
helping
realtors
people.
Yeah.
who watched their video, that was great too.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, your customers are going to go on there. Agent profile is something I think you should have. It's a business card. You should have it. It's not, again, it's not, you're not going to win an Oscar for it. It is just about when someone's trying to find your info. Community profiles.
Congeniality next year. Okay, that's all I'm working on, man.
But it's community videos are great. I would say if you're going to get one thing, if you have a community, do the community video, because the community video is just so much more expansive. And then the second one is an FAQ, and of course this is
Should you renovate your house? Every house is different. The benefit of working with a realtor is we can come in and look at your home through the eyes of a buyer. We want to bring people in. Basically, you need a professional like me to come in and let you know where you get the more bang for your buck. So renovating a kitchen is a big deal. Bathroom, any upgrades pertaining to those areas of the house will get you more money.
All right. So you can see it's pretty straightforward. When it's filmed well. It's a little stiff because she's not, super happy in front of camera. She got business from this because someone found her saying, should I renovate my house? These are the kind of things you should answer. So it isn't just standing in front of a screen going, should I renovate my house? Do this. Have some B-roll. Signing the paperwork. That paperwork. That's like her sister in her kitchen signing that. Yeah. But things like this that's a really good example of the type of content you should make. Think of the 15 questions that your customers are asking that are common questions, and make something that answers that, so that there's a value exchange. You're helping them along. You're not just trying to sell them or an agent profile branding video. So that's what I would think. Kill them with kindness. The soft sell, the long-term approach is where I would go. All right, and there's a bunch of other videos here. These are other types of videos, but I think there's 3 that you should do. A community video, because it's your area, you need to. An agent. Get your reviews on there.
So if we look you up on Yelp,
I should have a few. Yeah. Yeah, I have. So I've got Google reviews, Yelp reviews, N49 reviews, and like a few others. I don't have tons because we're a relatively new company, but yeah, we're definitely on
What
there.
about, question for you, what about animated little videos and stuff? That's garbage too?
I say yes.
You'd say yes,
I say
okay.
yes, and I love animation. I went to school for animation.
Yeah.
Animated videos and whiteboard videos are like the cheap things you get off Fiverr and stuff like that.
Okay.
My very long pitch. Thanks for having us, guys.
Emojis.
Those are.
Is that the
It's a
animation
gift.
that
It's a
we're
gift.
talking about?
It's a gift.
gift?
It's a gift. Yeah. And so the idea here is, that's us here. That's our we're based in downtown. The number. I'll send this off as a follow up to you guys. What I want to do is I just want to level set. This is what you guys should be thinking about when you're doing digital marketing. But I'm here as a resource. Call me up. You got questions? You've got questions about Instagram? Call me up. You want to know how to add a Facebook page? Call me up. But a lot of these things should be done in front of a computer, not theoretical. You're never going to retain it. So that's kind of all I came here to talk about. If I got I'll leave some. Yeah, I got some stuff here. I'll leave them behind if any of you guys want to do it. And it's just my last kind of ask for the sale here is we've got monthly plans here that work on reviews and building video. There's information there if you want to sign up. Reach out. In terms of, like I said, paying for paid media on things like Facebook, I think you should really consider a more long-term approach. Because at some point, it's just going to become a saturated market. There's areas for opportunity now to do it right, and that's where I would look at. So yeah.
Great.
Cool. Thanks for let me sit here and take up your whole morning, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully you found something out of it.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Oh yeah. I'll. Yeah, there's the flyer in the back and a business card on there.
No way.
Oh, okay, so there's the flyer.
Oh, yes.
I can steal one more, you can have the rest.
Oh,
whoa. Go bowling, right?
You are like,
Can I get one of
That was my last game.
I'm really feeling like
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need a donut. Oh my gosh, he's got that video still.
Hey.
I'm stuffing my face with a donut.
Okay.
I need to open it.
Oh, you brought it back, I thought you were leaving.
All right.
cards coming?
Yeah, they're up here. I've just got cards and package info and intake form if anybody
Yes.
eagerly decides they want to sign up today. Go ahead. Yeah, and it's just I think there's other ways of getting into this space that don't require spending oodles of money on Facebook. You know, you get into doing, like I said, the cultivating at the top of the funnel there. It's a land grab. There's going to be, you know, it's only take 30 people. I'm not trying to make $1 billion. You know, I want 10 customers a month. It works well. That's great. I have a consulting business on the side. You know, it's this is where I would go. That's what I would do. Especially, you know, it's different. 5 years ago when people were, you were just giving money away to sell houses, completely different story. But now you guys have to, work smarter. Yeah. If you get ranked, that's it. That's it. It's free money.
Oh, really?
I registered my website in '99.
Yeah. Yeah. See
Yeah,
that?
he does that on purpose, like, it's like, I look at it and be like, it's hilarious, if you look at more.
Yeah.
It's impossible to create now unless
Yeah, the reviews, yeah. And the thing is you think about who if anyone does this now,
I guess, yeah.
where they're going to be at in 5 years. That's the